Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for joining our webinar. This is the second webinar in a series that we've been doing this year. Our next one, for those of you that are eager and get some value out from today's 13th of September, that'll be the last one for this year. But really what these sessions are about is they're sort of quarterly sessions that we've called to share with our client base all the changes we've made. A lot of you have been clients for a long time. I recognize a lot of the names, and thanks for dialing in today. But really, you would have noticed we've accelerated our product development fairly rapidly in the last year. And we felt these type of sessions were useful while we publish all the updates and we publish it on the blog and we send you the notifications and you'll see the pop-ups in the app itself. We're obviously moving fairly quickly because we've got a fairly expansive vision of where we want to take the product in the next sort of year or so. So that's really why we're having these. So thanks for all of you for joining. Thanks for those of you that are coming back again. Please just remember you can invite anybody in your team to this. This is not a PMO manager thing or an administrator only thing. If your users want to attend, they're more than welcome to do that as well. So welcome to everybody, and thanks. The team that's going to help us through this today is myself, Taryn, who I'm sure you all know, who will demonstrate some of the functionality. Bronwyn is going to head up some of the client spotlight stuff, and we've got two ladies, one from PG and one from Old Mutual Africa, who've been using two components that we actually released. Sure, it's probably over a year ago now, and I think we did cover them in the last webinar. But what we like to do on these is just showcase how other organizations are using some of these features, because we always get asked, am I doing the right thing? Are we doing this? How do we compare to others? Give me some nice ideas. So that's what the client spotlight is. So Bronwyn is going to work with those two ladies and take it through, and she'll introduce them as those sections come up. We're going to try and get this finished by 2 o'clock. I know we overran horribly on the last one. We've got so much to share, and we see these as these quarterly celebrations. But we're going to try hard to get it finished in time. So we're going to move fairly quickly. Questions and answers, just for some admin. You're more than welcome to ask questions during the chat. Myself and Lindy will respond to those. This presentation is being recorded, so if you do have to drop off or something urgent happens or Eskom kicks in some load shedding or whatever happens, you will get an email for this. If anybody did register and couldn't make it today for whatever reason, they'll also get this, and you're more than welcome to share that obviously with other people in your organization so that they can also experience this. The deck that we're working with today as well, you'll also see has some links and those things at the end, so you'll get all those links as well. We will also post some of those links in the chat during the session, but don't feel like you need to copy and paste those links. They'll all come to you after this. Give us a day or two, and we'll get this all out to you. Okay, so we're going to ask if you keep it fairly quiet from a mute point of view. Obviously, you know, put the stuff in the chat and we take it from there. Okay. So just very quickly, since the last time we met, these are some of the features that we've been releasing. So we'll cover a lot of these today. But I mean, I think it gives you an idea for the pace at which we're moving. I'd also like to welcome today the entire DevOps team from PPO. They've done a lot of this hard work in the background. I've been pushing them fairly hard in the last year. So they're all joining us today. So thanks to those guys, and for those clients that never get to see them or hear them, they are available. They are here. They're somewhere in the background today. It's generally quite a challenge to get them to put their cameras on. I'm sure most of you know these development profiles, but the guys are all here. So thanks to all of you guys from DevOps for joining. But this really gives you a view for all the stuff that we have been pushing through. So I hope you join us again on the 13th of September, because 13th of September, we're actually going to be showing some more functionality. This, I don't want to take too much away from Taryn's presentation, but I mean, we obviously use PPO ourselves. All of you are aware of that. This is our calendar, and all this red stuff you see over here is our pipeline. So we have an agile development process, as I'm sure you all know. And I mean, you can see how busy we've actually been during May into where we are today, and then some other stuff coming up. So I mean, the team has been exceptionally busy in the last quarter. A lot of these enhancements are small back-end stuff that lead to bigger stuff down the line. We break it all up into quite meaningful pieces. And I mean, you can see from my lists, which you'll get a demo of later, how much stuff we've got in development, stuff we're grooming, stuff that we're looking to move forward, priority items. So we're going to keep up the pace of this. What you'll see in September is our new reporting, Those of you that are Apple fans, we've got some new graphs. The interactivity that you've been experiencing on your widgets is now coming to all your graphs and your dashboards. In our current sprint that we're in, if I want to sort of understand where we are and those type of things. So we're very excited about where the product's taking us, and that's why we have these sessions. So I'm glad for all of you joining us today. I'm going to hand back over to Taryn quickly, who's going to take us through the new tool that we're going to use from a polling and question point of view, and then I think she'll hand over to Bron and we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Guy. Just give me a sec to share my screen again. So in our last session, we tried something new. We wanted to bring about some engagement and interaction with all of our users. And what we did was we ran a lucky draw. And just for being a blog subscriber, and Karen from Dovetail was our lucky winner, and she got herself a Takealot voucher. And we are going to try something different in the same vein where we get that engagement going. So we're trialing out a new tool. You're going to see the instructions popping up on the next slide as well. So bear with us. It may not work, technology, but hopefully it all works well. So what you'll notice for all of you that have logged in today and you're using your desktop app for Teams, you'll notice that you will find a new icon at the top that is called Mentimeter. What I'm going to ask you to do just now is click on that Mentimeter app or that icon, and you'll see it'll pop up on the side like you would usually have in your chat. So you'll see that when you click on it, it's going to prompt you to either join via code or it's going to ask you to put in your name. I'm going to encourage you to put in your name and not put in a random name or the name that they pre-populate for you, because that's going to be really useful, because that's going to work out where you sit on the leaderboard, and we want to recognize those names if we're going to be giving away those prizes again. To participate, you need to be listening throughout the session. There's some questions that are going to be asked during the product demos, and we're going to test your knowledge at how well you've been paying attention. Remember, all Anne did at our last webinar was she signed up for the blog, and that got her into that lucky draw. So for those of you who haven't signed up for the blog, you've got a couple seconds to do it. Follow the link. You'll see on the top right side of the page, on this link, you'll see there is a sign up form for you to be signed up to the blog. For those of you that don't use Teams as a way to join these sessions, what I'm going to encourage you to do so that you don't miss out is go to this link, www.menti.com, using your cell phone and enter in this code, and that will help you to still be able to participate. Or if you've got a QR code scanner on your phone, scan the code, and that'll take you into the section for you to be able to respond. So I'm going to pause here just for a couple seconds. I want to make sure that everyone can participate. And this is specifically for the people that don't use the desktop Teams app to join our sessions. If you do use Teams, you should see that Mentimeter icon. Okay, so hopefully that's enough time for all of you. And we're going to jump right in to the first question. So fastest fingers first. So you're going to get about between 45 and 60 seconds to participate and answer your question. And those that answer really quickly will get the most points. Okay. So there we go. First question's up. Are you a blog subscriber? The countdown time is running. You can see it. Everyone has voted. And there we see it. Okay, so we've got 22 people that are blog subscribers and 15 that aren't. That's disappointing. So for those of you that aren't blog subscribers, now's your chance. Please go sign up to the blog. Just a reminder, we don't spam you. We really use it as an opportunity to keep you posted of product news. You'll get one email from us once a week on a Thursday, which will feature new product news. You'd also use that same mechanism to receive updates on our product news, our product events, invited to our next sessions. So please do that. The right answer was yes. So for those of you who answered yes, you've already got points and you're going to pop up on the leaderboard. So this is where we're standing so far. And Dile, you seem to be at the top with 993 points. Let's see how it goes if anyone manages to topple you from the leaderboard. Beulah, you in there? Daisy, good. I see a lot of familiar names here. These are my clients. So I'm very pleased that you all signed up. Taking you to the next question, I'm just whetting your appetite, getting you used to this. There's going to be a couple more during the session. So we've got 34 players that are in the game. So you all stand a chance. I'm going to press enter. Next question is popping up. Fastest fingers first. I think this one you got 45 seconds to answer. This is testing your knowledge around conversations in PPO. This is a feature that we've introduced for, I think it's probably 6 months now it's been available. It's a mechanism for our project communities to interact real time, get off your emails, do it directly in PPO. You still got 20 seconds to put in the right answer here.
Karen, we're getting some questions as to what that code is. People who want to join, do you have that Mentimeter code close by?
Yeah, it's at the top of the screen here, 2271495. So www.menti.com. Use the code to participate.
2271?
495. Okay, good. 21 people got the correct answer. So that is 100% right. Conversations in PPO allows you to support tagging of user groups, tagging of all your users. You can attach links, files, and images to conversations. You get notifications via personalized feed and reactions. So all of the above. Conversations does all of these things. Okay, guys, everyone good for the people that were trying to join?
Think so, yeah.
Okay, good. So this is where we stand with the leaderboard. Okay, Daisy at the top. Well done. And Delia, what happened to you? Disappeared. Okay, so Daisy dropped. Okay, so CDIA, Dia, is now at the top. Okay, so we've got one more question before I hand over to Bron. So get ready.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
We can't see the question on our side.
Just pop a thing into the chat there, and Lindy and I will help you on the side.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where we stand with the leaderboard. Our final question. 39 players are playing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to press enter to start the quiz. 40 players are ready. Fastest fingers first, 45 seconds to answer the next question. List pages in PPO support the following widgets. So over the last couple months, we've been introducing new widgets to your list pages. You would have noticed your PPO admins might have set up a couple defaults for you. If not, and you've come across it on your own, you would see you have the flexibility through your gear icon on your list pages to set up your own widgets based on your preferences. The options that you've got is that you can set up a donut chart, a key metric, a tree map, and a bar chart, or just a donut chart, key metric, donut chart, and key metric, or you've never heard of this. What's that? Okay, seems like everyone has voted. Well done. Yes, donut chart, key metric tree map, and bar charts are all the charts that we support on your list pages. These are all the new widgets that you've gotten. For those of you that haven't seen all of these, please reach out to your SM, your PPO admins, and get familiar with some of these additional chart types that we've got for you. So well done. We're going to see where you stand on the leaderboard. Where are we? Who's got the most points? Okay, we're seeing some movement. Okay. Deepa was the fastest in this round. Well done. D is still at the top of the board. So good job, everyone. We've got, I think it's 2 more questions during the presentation today, so keep your eye out. It's going to pop up again just now at some point. Take notice of your spot on the board. And if you want to stay in the lead, pay attention to what we present in the session. I'm happy for you to take over, Brian.
Okay, great. Thanks, Taryn. All right, everybody. So our first guest today, our guest client presenter is Beulah Bethany from PGRT. She's the PMO manager there. Before we get started talking to Beulah, some of you might be wondering, well, what is a non-project related entity? Well, as the name suggests, it's an entity in PPO that can be used in various cases where you don't want somebody to be forced to link an item to a project. So some of the areas that we use this is if we're creating a stakeholder database, or if we've got a list of vendors that we want to keep, or even prioritization scores, exchange rate entities, rate card entities. But one of the most used places is actually for demands or idea management. So today I asked Beulah to come and talk to us about their journey of implementing a demand entity in PPO. And we're going to talk about, the why, the what, and what the result is. Beulah, welcome today.
Hi, Bronwyn. Hi, everybody.
Thank you so much for doing this. I know you had a really good journey of implementing this demand entity of yours. Beulah, can you give the audience an idea of why? Why did you need a demand entity in PPO?
Yeah, sure, Bronwyn. What we found when we introduced PPO 2 years ago, we had a situation where business would log a system change request. We would just pick up and would run with it, right? So the first thing we did was introduce the project activation committee to allow us to just take stock. But during that process, we also found that the teams would come and present at the activation committee, then go ahead and start the work. But then we found that we had just way too many on-hold projects. So we had to then go back and think, and our wonderful account manager, Taryn, that always keeps us on our toes and is very hands-on, introduced the demand entity to us. It was just a way for us to just to stop and breathe before just picking up and running. So we were able to, we introduced the demand entity where we allowed business users to continue logging their system change request. But we would then take it through a very different, more stringent process where we did a whole lot of feasibility studies, allowed the architecture and solution managers to do viability reviews and things like that before it hit the activation committee for work to be done. And we now find that we have way less on hold projects. So that was one
great.
of the many reasons. Well.
And Beulah, can you take us through your demand entity and just give us an idea of how it's been set up?
Sure. Okay. So I've just added a new demand and pre-populated it. This is just an idea of what some of our users would log, and it's actually a fully fledged project underway. So we've set it up as we'd first have the demand requirements at the top, as you can see. Then we have stakeholders, the benefits that we review, classification estimation, and then the management of the demand. So if I take you through it slowly, so we put in the name. In this case, it's the chatbot, a chatbot that needs to be developed for our call center agents. Sorry, I should have had a glass of water next. When I told you this makes me very nervous. Then the ME reference number, we utilize a service management engine called Manage Engine that is administered by our vendor, and we receive the change numbers from them. So that is the ME reference number that we use as our demand number, which in turn becomes our project, which I'll show you now. Then the business objectives. Here we need a chatbot to provide the call center agents with quick access to new business rules, processes, and so on. And the business wants this because they want the call centers to stop running around looking for information when it should be right at their fingertips. And they also wanted to reduce customer complaints because we're taking too long to address their concerns or their queries. It's an internal chatbot that's required. So then we also allow our team to put in what the business priority is, whether it's high, medium, or low. You'll see that there's drop downs there. This one is obviously high priority, and they've provided us with the end date of the 1st of July. As you know, with business, everything must happen yesterday. So this is always a field that I change very frequently once we have the project schedules done. We then say we have about 10 companies that we service as the IT project office. So the division that's in the business, the company here is PG Glass. And Mr. Davidson asked for it, and one of his sales manager he's the person that we'll be working with. The strategic benefits is global benefits that the entire group complies to. So it ranges from increasing sales and returns, improving profitability, driving efficiencies, quick response to market, improve competitiveness, enhance transactional capability, drive a winning culture, governance and legal compliance, real-time intelligence, and improve customer service.
And Beulah, do you use these strategic benefits to help you prioritize your demands?
Absolutely. They're all in the back end. They have metrics against which they are assessed, and the higher the number that they achieve, the higher the demand is also prioritized in our space. So sometimes you will have the business saying, yes, my demand is higher, but when you weigh it up with the other demands, this one might drop, even though it's marked as a very high priority, depending on the metric.
Okay, great.
And then in terms of classification and estimation, we also use this to help us prioritize as well, Bronwyn. Here, we have 3 project types. The first one, we've got new transformational capability, significant functional improvement, and BAU. So new transformational capability and significant functional, that's the big changes that we do. New transformational is something that's never ever been in our space, and that we have to do it from scratch, come up with a new idea, and so forth. So this one is brand new. Again, we have different kinds of governance types, and again, we have built-in, what do I call it, fields, metrics at the back. So if we choose PG Glass projects, we'll have different fields that gets populated when it is converted to a project, versus whether it's an infrastructure project. The governance changes. So that's the changes. Sorry, the governance changes depending on the governance type we choose. Then with our new way of working at PGIT, we split our team into the change team and the run team. The change team just manages the big changes, whether the run team manages business as usual. And we have different stages against each of those. So this is ID8. Like I said, it's a brand new chatbot, and it's in the change phase. In the classification, it's application or infrastructure. It's a CRM enhancement because we have CRM as our front end, and they would like the chatbot to live there. We do know that it's going to be above 100K, and it's going to take us way more than 480 hours. And we've also allowed the team to log it against. We have several parent projects, and this one falls into the leads the invoice program that we'll be managing this demand against. Then, of course, we have the management of the demand, where we say we have a lot, you can decide whether it's, obviously when you log the demand, the first time it's new. When we hand it over to the architecture team, it will go to the analysis phase. Or we'll mark it as parked, as in we won't be able to look at this anytime soon. Or once it comes, it goes via the architecture team and it is presented at the activation committee and it's approved. We will mark it here as approved. And once we hit approved here and we submit this demand, it automatically generates the project. So we don't have that additional admin to go through. And yes, and then we have the follow-up date. Here you can see the prioritization and the ranking. We don't have criteria or metrics against these at the back yet, but it is in the pipeline so that we can add some calculations behind that. Sorry, Brandon, I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you. Is it just me?
No, we can't hear her either.
Darren, you muted.
I'm not on mute, but I'll take
Oh,
my
there I can
earphones
hear you
out.
now.
Can you hear me
There
now?
we can,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, sorry, my earphones obviously just decided now is the moment to break. Beulah, I mean, in terms of, the benefits, are you seeing the benefits of having the demands in PPO?
Well, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is that we're now able to have a more visible pipeline. So I'm now able to plan on a 3 months, 6 months, and an annual basis, which is amazing. And then also it's assisted us with resource planning. So we use the PPO resource planning in our tool, but just the planning side. Taryn, we're not there yet with the timesheets, or not actuals. But at least we're able to see now who of our team members are working on which initiatives, which is a massive win for us. And the last one is, which we are still working towards, is improving our benefit realization management. It's really helping us there because we're now pushing the business owners to start engaging with us much better on like, why do you want this? Which areas of these it's going to improve on?
For sure.
Those are the 3 big wins.
That's wonderful, Beulah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We really appreciate
Thank you.
that. I see guys answering questions on the side that are coming through. But thank you so much for participating today.
Ron, before you move on,
Yeah.
Beulah, there's a question that's specific to you there, so I'm going to let you respond to that on the chat when you're no longer presenting, because it's more a business-related question. Another question that came through is, how is this different from a proposal? And I think it's a great question. The non-project entity was built in such a way that it doesn't have to be under a project. Previously in PPO, everything was under a project. You have a project, and then you have risks, issues, tasks, documents, everything relating to a project. This entity sits on the side, so it can be used for information that's not related to a project. Now, what some clients were doing was they were creating a project for an idea, but it was a pre-project, so a proposal. But the problem is, where that phase in your life cycle, you don't really understand enough about the project, so you don't have all the articulated information. It also meant that your portfolio of projects got exceptionally big with all your requests or your needs or your wants. So what this does, in terms of the question that was asked there, how is this different from a proposal, is it allows you a section before you get into the project management phases to say, log your demand. Other clients call it ideas. Other clients call it needs. Other clients call it wants. Log those things that you're thinking about. Have it here. Go through the screening as Beulah showed you, the management side of it. And then if it's viable and feasible, it goes into your project it goes into your portfolio as a project. Because quite often the information you have up front is very different from what you have in a project. PG has done a very good job here of asking all the right questions around strategic alignment. But in most cases, when people have a project idea, it's very low level information. So this gives you the ability to ask for much less information up front from business to say, what is the things that you need, articulate through it with them, and then move it into the project phase. So hopefully that answers the question. I didn't want to type that up because I would have typed a long story, but hopefully that explains it. If you are a client that's got an idea entity inside of projects, or you did something different in the past, speak to us, because we can help you move that out into the same model that Beulah has, whether you call it idea or demand, and take it from there. Okay, I'm watching the time closely. We are quite far down the hour. So Bron's going to do the next one quickly, and then Taryn's going to jump in with showing you some of the newer stuff, which we've just recently released. So back to you, Bron.
Okay, thanks, Guy. All right, so our next topic that we're going to talk to is the business intelligent API that PPO provides. As Guy said, this is one of the things that was launched a while ago already. We've got some clients using it, and some of you that have not quite gotten there yet. But basically, this functionality gives you the ability to build your own reports and dashboards with PPO data using your BI tool of choice. Now, I've been very fortunate to walk a journey, observing and advising where possible, with Fatima from Old Mutual Africa. She's the head of the Africa Enterprise PMO. And Fatima has kindly agreed to show us the new Power BI dashboard that they've created, and take us through how they are using PPO data, but in a Power BI space. Thank you so much, Fatima, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Fatima, can you just tell me briefly, I mean, what was the reason? Why did you need Power BI on top of PPO?
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having me. So the main reason is actually a capability where a picture paints 1,000 words. And we have a lot of data in PPO, and we're trying to improve our reporting. So it was having a graphical representation of our data was one of the key reasons behind it. So how do I summarize my portfolio, looking at it holistically, and what does that look like? So I think it's easier if I show it
Yes,
and what it
please
means,
do.
but that is the main reason why we use Power BI and taking our PPO data. So everything resides in PPO, and we're then graphically showing what we wanted to produce.
Okay, great. So Fatima, can you walk us through your dashboard?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to make my screen bigger. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the overall portfolio dashboard, and basically what you can see is we try to have a summarized view of our portfolio. So you'll see portfolio health indicator, what is our budget year to date versus your business planning, how much is our spend, where is our benefit realization. So it's all summarizing and full portfolio. What is the year? So obviously we have different master plan years that we work with. What is the number of projects? What's the RAG indicator? The distress portfolio, the burn rate, and then we have a summarized view for that. So you have your budget versus your total spend, what's the status of the portfolio, and then graphically representing that and the associated risk and issues with that. So at a glance, at the overall level, so as you can see from our mutual, and we're focusing on the African regions, and it's a full aggregated view of all countries and how that portfolio looks like. So this is the detailed summarized view. And then moving on, we'll have then a detail associated with that. So what is the makeup of the portfolio itself and the list associated with that? So these are key elements and fields that we had. So we could be quite specific of what we want, and we therefore then want to mature the capability thereafter. So you can see RAG, budget, start, end dates, all the key or critical things that you want to see. It is focused at the senior management reporting and as well as the PMO capability itself. So this is the first pass view of what we've created, and we then want to mature additional information that we want to create. So that is still loading. So you have all the countries, and you saw we focus on year-to-date budget versus year-to-date spend. What is our accruals? What is the total spend of that? And then associated with the business planning number and forecasting to the end of the year.
Okay, great. And then also in your distress detail, one of the things that came up on your journey for building this was the fact that at the time we didn't actually allow free text fields to go through the API. And that's something that actually was changed. And it was a pretty please from you and a couple other clients. So that's just also just to note that that's one of the enhancements that we've made on the API, so that you can pull through those text fields on your comments, on your health indicators, etc.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bronwyn. So, I mean, obviously, it's all about not necessarily the green, where things are going wrong and why is that the case. So it's important to see the distress details associated with that. We also cleaned up our benefit realization, focusing on projects, what has been completed from a country perspective and mirroring plan versus actual. So we're forecasting and going even forward and making further improvements on active projects, but all the cleanup on completed projects. So we're now trying to drive the outcome of why we're doing it and where are the countries and what is that value associated. And similarly, where things are not happening, cancelled, non-realizable value as well. So this view is, there's actually two views. One is an aggregated portfolio view, which is I'm interested in, and all the MDs and CEOs across the board, and then they would be interested in their own country. So you can actually see per country view as well. So and it's all about the graphical representation. So just to there you have it. It will be a country view showing just for that country. So people have focus on what they're trying to achieve and report on this. So we're trying to minimize reporting as well, because everything at a glance is available.
Okay, and Fatima, I mean, you guys are only just releasing this, this final iteration of the dashboard. So it will be interesting to see how the audience accepts it. I mean, so far, have you had any feedback from your stakeholders about the dashboard?
Yeah, we actually released it in April because of the cleanup exercises. So what I've been doing is presenting it to the HPMOs for all countries, and then they need to cascade. We also, with the chief operating officers, we're meeting with them individually, because I think it's important that you do a first pass view, because at a glance they would be interested, if I have country X, what is it in terms of your spend, where's the health, and this data gets updated every day. So you have a full view from a portfolio perspective every day. And obviously you don't need to know it every day, but it's nice to know on a summary where things are at and what that portfolio looks like. So it's important for me to know, and I'm assuming all the heads as well.
For sure. Thank you so much for your time, Fatima. We really appreciate you sharing this with us. It looks awesome.
Thank you. Okay. And thank you for PPO support as well. It's been great.
Wonderful. All right, Taryn, over to you.
Just before I go, I think Guy wants to quickly chip in.
Thanks very much, Fatima and Beulah, for showcasing. We always love it when our clients showcase. Questions that were asked quickly, just to discuss. All the enhancements that we do on PPO are part of your subscription. We're not going to charge you an upgrade fee, an enhancement fee, a 2024 fee, a 2025 fee. We don't follow that type of model. So every feature that you see today, that you hear about, that we post on the blog, which is why it's so important that you follow the blog, those are all available to you as we deploy them as part of your subscription. It's up to you to then obviously decide how you use them, if you use them, all the rest of it. The nice thing with a BI API that you've seen a version of it in Power BI, but it's generic to whatever BI tool you use. So we've got clients who use Click, we've got clients who use Tableau, we've got clients who use Power BI. I built a bunch of stuff in Excel, and it was designed in such a way that it's user driven. So the PMO itself can build those things, not something that's required a technical resource. The other API that we have, which is also part of your subscription, which is also part of what you can use as part of your subscription, no additional charge, is more technical in nature to integrate to your ERP systems and those type of backend stuff. So if you do want to explore more about the API, we've posted the links there, and they will be in the presentation. And I mean, you can see the benefit that the team and the Old Mutual Africa team are getting on visualizing that data. I'm going to hand over to Taryn now to take you to the new features, but just to quickly explain where we're going. We did this a year ago, but I know there's some new faces here. There's some people that might have forgotten a year ago. So where we're going is a configurable homepage in PPO, which you will be able to log into PPO and see all these things on your homepage. So today when you log onto PPO, you see a whole bunch of lists, and it's a list of projects and a list of risks and a list of issues and all the rest of it. But where we want to go is that visualization. Fatima said it. It's the graphical visualization. So all these components we've been building, all these widgets are moving us to a place where you'll be able to build your own dashboard on PPO. On your homepage, you'll have multiple tabs, and you'll be able to say, I want to see project health versus status versus number of risks versus current sprint status versus the activity rate on my current sprint, what my work items throughput looks like, what my velocity looks like, visual views, calendar views, table views, list views, all those type of things. So we're going to be embedding the reporting that currently sits sort of a bit on the side more into the everyday use of PPO. But we have to develop each one of these components or widgets first, get them all entrenched, get you comfortable with them, get you using them. And then in the next quarter, we're going to be releasing that configurable homepage. So that's the roadmap, and that's where we're going to. And that's sort of why we're doing it. And why we're pushing these features in quite quickly was to get them all in place, get you comfortable with it, so that in the future you'll be able to log in. And your executives will have very visual views, and maybe your PMs will have different views, but it'll be configurable, and it won't be hard as it is today. That's our roadmap. That's where we're going. So Taryn's going to now jump in and quickly cover some of the other widgets that we've released, getting you used to them now for that bigger view.
Thanks, guys. So I'm just going to use an instance that I've got going here. I'm going to be Jane Branch for the purpose of this demo. So don't be alarmed when you see Jane Branch. That's me. What you would have noticed with the introduction of the calendar and my list widgets is that your homepage has changed. So it is going to continue to change, as guys mentioned, and you will start seeing this being more configurable view where you can add the kinds of widgets that you want to see. As a default, the calendar that everybody has now got visible to them is showing events for my tasks, my risks, my issues. Briefly, what that means is that any task where you're the responsible person and it has a date, which is the planned end date, is plotted visually in a calendar type view. So no more missing key project deadlines because you don't have any excuses. Those deadlines are visible on your calendar. My risks, my issues, the same principle. So anything where you're either the risk owner or the issue owner is now visible, and the color of these events will depict whether it's a task, a risk, or an issue. The ability for you to add events, I'll quickly get to that, but I just want to talk through these other settings. You can see my default view means that I'm only going to see a week at a time. The today color is plotted here in this light baby blue, and I can see that weekends are shown. So just going back, looking at those settings, default view is a week view. I can see the color. That's an issue, that's a risk, and I can see my public holidays. You'll notice that public holidays on that timeline view that Guy shared earlier was that public holidays now have titles. That was a new feature that we deployed since we last met for our, I think it was the 15th of March webinar. But what we did at the same time of making this change is we updated all of your instances with the titles for you. So there was no need for you to do anything. So immediately you would see that your public holidays now have titles. Going back to that gear icon quickly, I can choose to make my default view a month. I can choose to not show weekends. So I'm toggling off that option. And if I were to quickly save that, you can see that my calendar view now has changed. So I can see visibly due dates for tasks, issues, risks, and I can see my public holiday there as well. So Saturday and Sunday has now disappeared. The use cases for this is endless. So, I mean, if you were PMO and you maybe track PRC dates and you want everyone to see this as a default, you could quite easily plot the PRC committee meeting dates on that. As a user, you might want to see my demands where I'm the demand owner. So I can quickly do something like that. Or you maybe want to see key milestones on the projects that you attach to, so my projects. So if I were to quickly display key milestones, I would need to show it as a title. The source of my data is tasks, because that's where my milestones sit. The table widget, so the list widget, those filter options are available to you as a default, but I want to quickly add an additional one for my project. So any projects that I'm attached to in any way. So I could be the project owner, sponsor, or manager, and I want to add an additional task filter that makes sure that I'm only seeing milestones. So I'm seeing only milestones across my projects. There's 2 date options. If I were to choose the planned start and end date, it would show the duration of that activity plotted on the calendar, but I don't want to do that. I really just want to see the planned end date. Milestones, where I'm the responsible person, they typically don't have responsibilities assigned on a milestone, so I'm going to leave that blank. And here's my color picker. So the color picker also changed slightly when we introduced the key metric widget. You might have noticed it, but an easy way to choose a color is to just do something like that, change it there. But if you want it and you've got a specific hex code, you can use the options here to navigate to what you want to see. So I'm going to plot this in a bluey color for now. I'm happy with that. Make sure that you click to add. I've now got key milestones shown, and what I should expect to see is key milestones across all the projects I'm attached to, and it would be this list. So fixed admin, cost to income, compliance front end. So all these projects I'm involved in, I can now see the key milestone dates plotted in a visual view. So no excuses for missing those deadlines. I can use these options to navigate to future months, go back if I wanted to, and so it goes. So really, the principle here is that anything that's date driven, you can plot against a calendar view. Your defaults are set up by your PPO administrator. So, PPO admins take notes. Think about the different kinds of use cases you have for this. Work items, sprint end dates, things like that could be applied as defaults, but users themselves can go and set up whatever they want as their preferences. In OM Africa space, they care about benefit realization dates. Nothing stops you from plotting, my benefits, where I'm the benefit owner, and plot the planned realization date for your benefits. Same for you, PG, that manages benefits as well. So really the opportunities are endless for using the calendar, and hopefully all users will now be able to see a consolidated view of the deadlines associated with the work that they're involved in. So quickly, before I jump to the next section on my list, I hope you were all paying attention. Fastest fingers first. Players, are you ready? I've got a question for you. How many people are playing? 17. Do we have any more? 18, 19? Okay, there we go. I'm going to start the quiz now. Got a question for you. I can add anything with the date to my PPO calendar. True or false? 40 seconds. Everyone has voted. Correct answer is true. Answer is yes. Anything with the date can be added to your calendar. Where do we stand with our leaderboard? Where are we? Seems like we've got deeper at the top of the list. Well done. Okay, so I'm quickly just going to jump to my list so that you all see this. One thing you'll notice before I quickly talk about my list is that you see I've got a feed item that's shown. I can see it here in the browser. There's one feed item. For those of you using Conversations, this was deployed 6 months or more ago, and you can see that I've been using this as a way to remind me to go back to something that I'm working on. So here's a personalized feed, and I've got to review this. This is really important. You can mark these items as read, as unread. And my habit before we had my list was to mark my feed notifications as unread as a reminder to go back to them. But with the introduction of my list, that's something that maybe is not necessary for me to do anymore. So as an example, list, all it does is gives you a mechanism to structure items that you're keeping track on, items you're following, your to-do lists, your watch list projects, your favorites. It gives you a way to easily navigate to those items, don't lose track of them, and then get notified of changes to these items as and when they happen, regardless of whether you've updated it or not. So you can see as a default, everyone would have received a favorites list. So that's default. If you probably log in now, you'll see you've got a favorite list, but you've got no items in it. So what we're going to quickly remedy that, and I'm going to show you quickly how to add new lists as well as delete items from the list. So I'm going to add an item for items to follow. So I know that there's a new demand item that was approved as a project. So I've added the list, I've given it a title. That project is a time and attendance project that was approved as a demand item, and I want to add this to my list. So I can quickly add, navigate to that project. You'll see there's a new icon, add to list, and I'm putting it in my items to follow, and I'm saving that. What that means is that any change on this project is now going to come to me via my feed. So if Adrian de Villiers, my colleague, goes and updates the project for me, the required end dates on that project maybe, or something like that, I'm expecting to get notified in my feed of changes to that project. So this is the item in my list. You can see notifications is enabled. That's the project that's now in my list. And if that project should be updated, any change to that project will be there. You'll also notice with lists that you can have multiple items in it. So in my to-do list as an example, and there you go, I got a notification. So what it says, time and attendance control updated. An item on one of my lists have now been updated. I can drill through to that, and there I can see the required end date was changed on that project. So now the features that you have become used to are now being used in other examples as well. Personalized feed is not limited to just conversations anymore. It's now being used to notify you of changes to items in your list. And very soon, you can also change your business rules to not just be limited to email, but also to send to your feed. So when a new item is updated, a new item is added, those things can come to you via your feed. And there you can see there's a couple of changes that are happening here in my list, and I can now do that. Here was an example of an item that I needed to review. I used to mark this item as, unread, but now, the easier option would be just for me to create a list. It was my review list or items to review. And all those things that I haven't responded to on conversations in the past, and I probably will check this conversation and it seems like I'm being really harassed here. Jane, what's the status? How far are you? And I keep forgetting about it. And had I had a list to keep track of it, I might not have been being hounded like this for feedback. So, that's the example that you can see how that can be used. Okay, so I've got a couple minutes left, and there's one change that I need to show you on the bar charts. But before we do, we just have one more question for our leaderboard. Let's see where we go. We still got people playing here, 36, 37. There we go. So final question. I don't know. I might be too soon with this one, but this might be testing your knowledge. I actually am too soon, but I'm testing your knowledge before. Let's see how you go. I'll give you the answer in the demo. Hopefully you've been playing around with this for a bit. It shouldn't be too new to you. So which statement is false? I can create stacked bar charts. Bar charts can only be used with numeric fields. The bar chart is available on any list page. So this is not brand new. I think it's probably been available for about a month now, and hopefully you've had a chance to play with it. 7, 6, 5, 4. There we go. Everyone has voted. 19 people got the right answer. Yes. Bar charts can only be used with numeric fields. That is the false answer. So that statement is false. You can use any other fields and not limited to numeric fields. Okay, so let me quickly show you some bar charts. I don't have too much time, but I'm going to quickly get through it. So you'll see under your gear icon, there is an additional chart type here right at the end. So key metric, donut, tree map, bar chart. So to add a bar chart, I'm going to do one very quickly. I'm going to use project health by portfolio. So I'm going to say, I want to see the health of my portfolio shown to me by portfolio type, and I want to see a count of these. I can choose my orientation, where I can either go for columns or I can go for bars, and I can choose the mode, which is a normal mode, a stack mode, or a percentage mode. You'll notice that the axis changes based on what option you choose. I'm going to go for the stacked mode, and I want to use the palette for red, amber, green, health. So I want to see that. It's important that you click the add button to see it. Drag and drop. This came about a couple months ago as well, maybe even longer. I'm dragging that up to the top, and I'm going to save this. And you'll see now I see a count by project health and portfolio type. So there it is. It's stacked, so it shows me for transform and grow. I've got 2 green projects, 3 amber, 2 red. For you, Victor, I know you've been keeping track of this one. You did ask us about making a change to order the information based on a certain order, chronological or phases of the project. That change has been made, so that is now available to you. Check your bar chart. You should see that change available to you. There's very many use cases for this. If you haven't set up any of your bar charts, admins, please reach out to the support desk. They can help you with some ideas on defaults for your users, but this is available. Hopefully the team has posted some links in the chat to help you set this up. And that's basically it, the bar charts. I'll quickly show you, if I've got enough time, some other pages where it's visible. So on the cost list, you can see I've got a bar chart which shows me the sum of the budget, the actual spend, and estimate to complete by month. I've got one on my risk list here, and I don't. But I think I've got it on my demand, but you get the idea. So you can now visualize your data. Here's it on my demand, count by business priority and portfolio type. You can see the axis changed. It's no longer columns, it's bars, and you can see it there. And that's basically it for the bar charts. I think I've got one more poll for you guys just to respond to before we close out. And if you've got any questions, please use the chat and ask along. If you can stay on for a couple of minutes, that we're happy to answer your questions. We'll see our leaderboard now. Where do we stand? Deepa is our winner. Well done. She is our winner for today's quiz. We'll be in contact with you, Deepa, for your prize. Well done. And thank you to everyone for participating. I've got one more for you quickly before you go. We just want to get your feedback on how you found today's webinar, rate the value of today's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Guy, over to you if you've got final comments.
I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. We have done better this time than we did the last time, only running over a minute. We'll get better at this and try and get it done in time. We've answered as many questions as we can on the side. There's a bunch of actions for our team to reach out to some of you who asked specific questions. Anything you saw here today is part of your subscription. It's taking us forward in this journey to get to this customizable homepage, being able to build your own PPO dashboard that you'll see on your homepage where you log in with the drill through capability and all those things. So that's our roadmap. That's where we're going in the next quarter. Thanks all for joining. We've posted the link to the next one in September already. Our DevOps team are really hard at work with a lot of those features that we've discussed, and we'll be ready for them. But nothing else from me. Thank you very much for everyone for joining. Great job, ladies, and thank you to the 2 clients for showcasing. I know it's always tough to come and present and do these type of things, but it's invaluable to share the knowledge and what you've been through. So thank you very much. Well done, Taryn. Well done, Bron. And then for the DevOps guys that are here in the background, still probably not with their cameras on. Thanks very much, gents, for joining, and thanks for all the hard work in the last quarter. And as I'm sure you can see, everyone is looking forward to the next quarter. So let's keep it going. If there are questions, we will hang around. I don't have another meeting for another hour or so, so happy to answer questions for people that want to maybe unmute themselves and chat. If there are questions on the side, we'll stick around for another couple of minutes for people who do have some questions. So yeah, Victor posted a comment there about copying of a project. Yes, that's also new functionality we deployed just this week. Victor, I think we've got so much new stuff coming that we either need to have a webinar every month, which we know is not really feasible for all of you guys. You've got projects to run, or we need to have a 90-minute webinar, but we're specifically forcing ourselves to keep them to short, powerful 60-minute sessions. But yeah, that's new functionality as well. All of this we cover in our blog, so I can't stress it enough. Just register for the blog. On a Thursday, you get an email. You see the new stuff. There's a short little video. You watch it, and you're up to date. So very, very important. Okay, I'm going to keep just checking any questions. I see a lot of thank yous, a lot of hearts. That's all good to see. There's a question from an unknown user, how to remove unclassified documents. I don't know, Taryn, how good you're going to be at doing a live demo of that. If you do have unclassified documents, it's actually very easy to do. On your home page, you go to the section where they're unclassified, you click on the left-hand side and you click on the delete. Deleting of unclassified documents was also a feature we released probably 6 months or so ago. So your name is unfortunately unknown user, so I'm not sure who you are and if you're still online. But yeah, that's a feature that's easy to do. I'll quickly try and find a blog post on that and post it if you're still online.
I would have been able to do it, Guy, but I think my email address is going to stop me. I'm not going to be able to.
Okay, no problem.
Let me try. Let me see what I can do.
There are any other questions? Anybody who's still?
So let's see if I were to quickly attempt to drag and drop a file. Hopefully, I'll manage just fine. So I'm going to add hopefully the user is still on board. I'm going to add a file here. It's uploaded. I dragged and dropped my file. It now sits in my unclassified documents, and I now want to get rid of it. I can click on the actions and click on delete. Oh, there we go. It was easy enough. So documents is now gone. Did that unknown user, are you still around? Did that help?
If they're around or not, but it'll be part of the webinar recording, so they'll be able to see it there. Okay, Daisy's got a hand up. Hello,
Yeah.
Daisy.
Yeah, it happened. I'll try to do.
Sorry, that was an accident.
Okay. But hi, Daisy.
Hi, Guy.
Okay. I think the voice that we heard there, Taryn, was the person confirming that what you showed was done.
Okay.
But yeah, easy as that. Okay. It's also, I mean, it's very easy to answer these questions yourself in PPO's help. If Taryn goes there quickly, top right-hand corner, the help icon, you click on that, support portal, FAQ, knowledge base. You can just search deleting unclassified documents and you'll get to that article. Actually, I found it on the website. You'll get to that actually very quickly. Okay, I'm going to give it another couple more minutes. So that's the PPO support desk help file that you'll see at the back there that Taryn had open. Taryn, you can maybe just demonstrate it while we're waiting for 1 or 2 more questions. So
Support portal, the question mark, and you can choose either frequently asked questions or knowledge base. If I choose knowledge base, it'll take me to the knowledge base and I can search unclassified documents. And by searching that, I'm going to get something there, how this all works, and I can draw through and it will be in this article.
in the documents article, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Linking documents.
you've just gone past it.
Did I? Is this it? No, that's not it.
That's that one over there. It's that
Yeah.
delete button over there.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I don't think there are any more questions coming in. I see there are still 31 participants. But Taryn, I think we can close out the session and thank everybody for
saying. What I was saying is that I don't have the option for deleting the documents. Yeah.
Okay, so that's likely your user group access.
Carlos, what organization do you belong to?
Admin Dev.
Okay, good stuff. Taryn will show quickly. It's an access control, so some users have the ability to add, edit, and delete documents, some don't. It sits in your user group. Lindy, who I'm sure is still on the call, will reach out to the administrators of AB InBev and just ask the question, should everyone have access? There's the icon over there. And if you have that access, off you go. I do believe if you uploaded the classified document yourself, you'd be able to delete it yourself, irrespective of your access rights. But Lindy will get back to you, Carlos. We've got your name. We'll be able to track your email address, and we know we meet with the AB InBev team fairly regularly. So we'll come back to you and sort that out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just remember, you don't have to wait for these webinars. If you're battling, reach out to the support desk, log a ticket, do some live chat, and they're there to help you on a daily basis to answer those things. So. Live chat for those that are not aware, or Carlos, if you're not aware, you click on that same help icon that Taryn was earlier. There's a live chat. It'll pop up, and we've got that team ready to be talking to you, and they'll guide you through and assist you. And that's all part of your subscription. Again, we don't charge you for that, so please feel free to reach out, and the team will help you. Okay, Taryn, I'm due a cup of coffee, so I'm going to.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna close out anyway. And if anyone has any questions, that I'm sure they'll reach out on the support desk.
Thanks everyone for joining today. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
The team.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys. Bye. Eileen, Patrick. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.